know how far-reaching decisions can be, how important decisions can be. That's why you take time to listen to God, take time to pray, take time to ask people before you make your decisions. Some of you today are at crossroads of life. Maybe you are waiting upon God for a job. Maybe you're looking at your career advancement. Maybe you're thinking about starting a relationship. Maybe some of you are looking for a church. Well, maybe not here as many, but I know many tune in online, and that's because they are looking for a church. They are deciding, should they go to this church, leave this church, and so on. Maybe some of you are thinking about migration. You're sick and tired of Singapore. You say, I want to get somewhere else. You're thinking about migrating somewhere. Some of you are really making decisions. I hope this story that we see in Genesis 13 will help you in decision making. Decisions. Abraham had just been rescued by God from Egypt, and now he's back at the land of Canaan. And God has blessed him to such a degree that his flock and herd is so great that it begins to compete and clash with Lot's herd and flock that has also grown real great. So they have a space constraint. They need to find more land. They need to separate. They can't be together anymore because the land that they're living in cannot support their entire family and their servants and the livestock. So they have to come to an agreement. They have to come to a decision about land division. So we're going to see how they decide and what happens to them after they decide. So first of all, in this story, I'd like you to look into their considerations. What do they think about when they make decisions? Now, you make decisions based on facts. You make decisions based on interpretation of facts. And so how do they interpret the facts? What are the most important things in their minds? When I was in the army, we learned about planning for a mission. This battalion is supposed to capture this hill or this knoll by a particular time. And in order to capture or to conquer that territory, you do need to understand some principal considerations for that conquest. What are the unique things you have to be mindful about? What is the main thing that we have to get right in order to conquer? So, principal considerations. So that's what we're going to look at. What are the principal considerations for Lot and for Abraham? Let's see for Lot. We read in chapter 13 and verse 10, Lot lifted up his eyes and saw that the Jordan Valley was well watered everywhere, like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt. So, Lot bases his decision on what he saw. He lifted up his eyes and saw that the Jordan Valley was well watered. And that motivated him later on to choose this place. The reason why Lot chose this property, this land, this region, is because he saw that this was a land that would give him, if I may add, the good life. That this was a land of abundance, a land of beauty, a land that will provide him comfort and ease and plenty. And that motivates him to choose this land. This was the principal consideration for Lot. And everything else faded into the background. Everything else was not that important anymore. Once you have that principal consideration, that is it. I know that that's the case because the author, Moses, did give a commentary in verse 13. Now, the men of Sodom were wicked, great sinners against the Lord. Now, this land that Lot chose is going to be where Sodom is. And Moses is saying, now Lot saw the beauty of the land, the abundance of the land, but he did not care. He did not mind. He was not concerned that the city of Sodom were wicked and great sinners against the Lord. You know how it is when you maybe meet a girl and you were fascinated with something about the girl. It doesn't matter anymore, whatever else. That's all you want. And that's maybe a description of Lot. He saw that it was prosperous. It was the promise of the good life. And that's what he wanted. did not care, was not aware, was neglectful towards the spiritual dangers that may be lurking in Sodom, that would influence him and really hurt him ultimately. Now, some of you may say, well, what do you expect? Lot is a non-Christian. He's not a Christian. He's an unbeliever. He doesn't care. He would choose the way of the world because he is of the world. But mind you, the Bible doesn't tell us Lot was an unbeliever. The scary thing and the sad thing is that Lot was a Christian. In other words, he's a believer of God. He's a child of God. How do you know that? Well, Peter tells us in 2 Peter that Lot is given the title or the description, righteous Lot. He was a righteous man who lived among them day by day. He had a righteous soul. And Peter uses this to say how the Lord knows how to rescue the godly from trials. So, Lot was not an unsaved man. He was righteous. He was godly. He had a righteous soul. And I think this is a sobering part for you and for me. Not only does the world choose things of the world. I mean, you can't blame them, right? That's all they know. The good life, abundance, comfort, beauty, ease. That's what they look for. But the sad thing is that Christians, like Lot, can also choose the way the world chooses. That we can look at a job and say, wow, that's a good job, man. Why? Because it pays you a lot. Doesn't matter if it squeezes the life out of you. Doesn't matter if it gives you no time to serve God, to read His Word. Doesn't matter. The principal consideration for even many Christians is that it makes me rich. It makes me comfortable. I can finally get my BMW. I can finally live it up. I can finally be admired by my family and friends. I don't care. This is a well-watered land. That's where I go. And we follow the decision-making considerations of Lot. Some of you may choose this way of thinking when it comes even to looking for church.